Hey, happy Mother's Day. This is Leslie Gaston Bird, and I wrote a little book called Women in Audio. And I'm really happy it's getting a lot of good feedback, and thank you, everyone. And to celebrate Mother's Day and also to celebrate being shut in England, I think we're all just looking for things to do. So, because it's Mother's Day and because I have some time, I thought I'd bring you a little section of the book that I wrote about being an audio mom. So if you want to know more about the book, go to womeninaudiobook.com, and you can reach out to me, of course, anytime. So this is a section I wrote. I just wanted to, I talked about motherhood a lot with lots of women who I'm acquaintances with and colleagues with. And so here's what I wrote on motherhood. As a mother, I find myself giving advice to audio women who face the dilemma of whether to have children. So for this book, I have talked to a lot of audio moms. They are in every field of audio. Nonetheless, there exists the sentiment that a career in sound is impossible with kids, and with good reason, at least in the United States, which is the only industrialized nation that does not offer paid leave for new mothers, and that's according to Ingram, 2018. The Family and Medical Leave Act of 2012 grants women 12 weeks of unpaid leave, which allows a new mother time to bond with her baby, but no income with which to do so, leaving her with the dilemma of how to return to work so she can provide for her child. And right here we have a picture of Robin Cox Yeldon and her daughter Dakota, and this was taken in the 80s. Maybe early 90s, sorry. And Robin was teaching at Berklee College of Music, and she passed away in 1999 at a young age. So I'll continue reading. In the book, Shebop 2, producer Ann Dudley of The Art of Noise, is quoted as saying, "You work longer hours than a hospital doctor." Now, this is ironic timing, of course, because I think hospital doctors are working the longest hours right now. Thank you, everybody who is a hospital doctor. Right now, we need you. I digress. So Dudley continues to say, "No woman in her right mind would take that work for those hours and that money, especially if she has children." And that's a quote from O'Brien, 2004. "But women who want kids sound defeated before they even start," remarks Fela Davis. "Kids don't kill your dreams." And that was from an interview I did with Fela. Similarly, Yaiko Ishiwata says, "I know many women who juggle both family life and career life and excel in both areas. The situation is not black and white." And that's from an interview I did with Yaiko. Yes, being a mom is hard work, and being a single parent even more so. Still, it is possible to be a mom in the audio business. So here are a few testimonials from women of various means. Leah Soraida remembers working on the road with her mother at church gigs, and she told me that story for a blog that I was doing on Women in Audio. Hollywood producer Erwin Winkler offered to set up a room with a crib and pay for a nurse for Vicki Rose Sampson so she could complete her studio training. She had her husband bring the baby over twice a day, and that was from an interview that April Tucker, thank you April, did with Vicki. An NPR feature tells the story of when Carrie Kai's twin daughters were born. By the early 90s, when Pearl Jam exploded, Kai's was on the road a lot. When she was touring, their dad, aunts, and sometimes a nanny took care of them. "It was challenging," Kai's remarked. "It took me probably till they were 3 or 4 to actually come to terms with, you know what? I'm actually a better mother if I'm doing what I love doing, so that when I'm here, I'm completely here." And that's from an interview with Carolyn Losnick, 2016. Jamie Angus recalls, "When I worked at Standard Telecom, we had a software engineer who'd gone off to have a baby and came back, so they gave her a private telephone line so she could use a modem, a dumb terminal at home, and fully flexible work pattern so they could keep her on and so that she could continue to work. I can't think of any other business that could have been that flexible. They wanted her skills, and they were willing to do the extra bit to make it happen." So I'm guessing that was probably in the early 90s, and that was from an interview I did with Jamie. Soraya Mohammed entered a timeshare agreement with her coworker and was able to set up a DAW at home so she could work there, and that was at NPR, I believe. Yeah, at NPR is when she did that, and that was from my interview with Soraya. And Carol Bird McClellan, this is from a book Michael Knoll did on Bell Labs. And Carol Bird recounts, I didn't take off much time from work after I had my baby, maybe a month. And then I started back to work part-time. My managers were very amenable to whatever arrangement I wanted to make. Sometimes I brought my daughter to the labs. I would pull out the bottom drawer of my desk, and this little being would sleep down there. After a while, I got childcare. She turned out well. She's now a history professor at a small honors college in Florida. And Lisa Negrees, the director of recording, and Lisa, if you're out there, I'm sorry. I don't think I ever have heard you pronounce your last name. But she's director of recording and performance technology services at the New England Conservatory. And she says of her job, this career will allow somebody to have a family. There are plenty of women who can juggle these things, but this is something I was able to grab onto. And finally, Martha DeFrancisco, who works at McGill, let me just move this so I can see. She made it a point in her interview with me to get the word out about the rewards of motherhood. I think it's important to mention that because many women think either I'm a recording engineer or I am a mother, but I cannot be both. So I feel like I read that wrong. What Martha said was, I think it's important to mention that because many women think either I am a recording engineer or I'm a mother, but I can't be both. I got married and I have a daughter, she told me, and that was possible. And I was able and very happy to, in spite of my career. She came out wonderfully. So I was able to combine this tight time schedule and demanding career with being a mother. And that is the best thing I have ever done. That was from Martha DeFrancisco. You have to stop that. That's my daughter. So, happy Mother's Day, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this and my daughter's little cameo. Enjoy, stay safe, stay well, and happy Mother's Day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you could do me a favor and click subscribe, and that way you'll get notified when I post maybe another chapter I've read or some of the other stuff I'm doing. Subscribe. Thanks. And stay well.